Hello everyone, I am Siddharthan. In the previous videos, we have seen how we can install Postgres in Windows machine and how to work with a sample database. In this video, let's see how we can connect to this Postgres database in localhost and import the data to a Pandas DataFrame in Python. So this will be the agenda for today's video and let's get started. So the first thing that we need to do is make sure that Postgres server is running, and in order to access that, in order to start that, you can open your command prompt and run some commands. So by this point I'm assuming that you have already installed Postgres. If not, you can refer to my previous video and do the installation. I'll try to give the video link in this video description. You can check that out. So I'll come to this Windows search bar and search for command prompt. So we have this command prompt, but in order to run this command, we have to start this command prompt as administrator. So I'll click on this run as administrator and click on this yes. So if you don't want to do this every time, you can also change this configuration for Postgres to start running on the background all the time. So by default, that should be the case, but again, you can change that if you want that. So now I'll say net start PostgreSQL hyphen ex64-17. So this 17 last two digits is basically the version of PostgreSQL that we have installed. So if you have installed, let's say 16 version, you can put 16 here. So minus 17, so I'm using this. The other thing predominantly won't change. So this is the Windows version type and so on. So the 64-bit, and then we have this PostgreSQL. So this part mostly won't change depending upon your machine. Only this 17 part will change, again depending upon the version that you have. So type in this command and click on enter. So it says PostgreSQL 6417 is server 17 is starting, and it has started successfully. So now we can do this other steps because we need to have the server running for us to be able to connect it via Python. So we need to install certain libraries that's going to help us connect to this database. So first let's do that installation. So currently I'm on Jupyter Notebook, so I'm assuming also you also know how to install Jupyter. So if not, you can refer to my other videos as well. So I've made videos on that too. So I'll say pip install with an exclamatory mark because this is a command. So it's going to read this as command and run the installation command. So say pip install psychopg2. So this psychopg2 is helps us to connect with Postgres database, and then we need pandas and then SQL alchemy. So these are the libraries that we are going to use. If you want the latest version, you can just go to Google and search for, let's say, psychopg2 pypa or something. So it would give you the latest version. So I think I have to delete H. Okay, so psychopg2, the latest version is 2.9.9 and so on. So psychopg2, pandas and SQL alchemy. So I'll run this by clicking on shift plus enter, or you can also use this run button over here. So let's wait for this installation. So I have already installed this. So it says all these libraries are already installed. So requirement already satisfied, but you can do this installation. So the next part is we are going to import libraries. So I'll say import pandas as PD, and then from SQL alchemy import create engine. So we are going to use this create engine to establish a connection and connect it to the Postgres database. So let's run this cell. So the import statement is also done. So now we have to define the username, password, and other details. So let me put a comment here saying define PostgreSQL connection details. So now I can say username is equal to engine.connect. Sorry. So the username is for me the Postgres is the default username, which is Postgres, and password I have used root as my password. Again, all this are done when you're trying to do this installation for Postgres. So if you add a different password, you can put that password here. And I have my local host as just the local host we can give here, and then the default port on which Postgres runs is 5432. And finally, we have to mention the database name. So the database, the sample database that we have created is DVD rental. So we downloaded this database dump from internet, and we have like kind of loaded that to our Postgres server. So we can use that particular database too. So refer to my previous installation video of Postgres if you want to download this sample database as well. But again, if you're working with a different database, or let's say if you're trying to connect to a Postgres server running on a EC2 or some other cloud machine, you can change those host details, username, password details, and the database details as well. So I'll run this cell. Now we are going to pass this to the create engine and connect to it. So I'll say engine is equal to create engine that we have imported from SQL Alchemy. And within this, we can use this substitution connection string. So put a F here. We are going to substitute this username and other details value. So say PostgreSQL colon double forward slash, and within curly braces. So when you use CF and put a string here, if you put a curly braces, the content will be replaced. So I'll say username colon password at host, and then I'll say port slash database. Let me verify this. So we have PostgreSQL username, password, host, port, and database. I'll show you how this string would look like outside. So we are going to replace all those with this username, password, and other things that we have over here. So it would be like PostgreSQL colon double slash Postgres, which is the username that we have, root, which is the password, at localhost, our host 5432 port, and finally database. So this is the string that we are using, just that we are replacing this username from the previous step. So this curly braces and this username will be replaced with this value, password with this curly braces will be replaced with root value, and so on. Simple string stuff in Python. So I'll delete this, and you can run this. So this is going to create the engine, and then we can establish the connection. So I can just say connection is equal to engine dot connect double parenthesis here, run this. So this is the connection, and the next one is your query. So let's say that this DVD rental has a table called as actor. So let's import all the data from there. So write your SQL query. So here I can say select asterisk, that means select everything from this particular table. So select everything from actor. So we don't have to mention the database name like dvd rental dot actor, because we are anyway connecting to that particular database. So we can just say select asterisk from actor. So that means select all the data from this actor table. So this is the query and connection. So now I can say, so this part is load the data to a pandas data frame. So this is similar to reading a CSV file in Pandas. So instead we are going to say def is equal to pd.read SQL. So read from this SQL query in this particular connection. So say query. So we are going to use this query, and the next parameter is your connection. I'll run this. So this has imported all the data. So I can say df.shape. So that's going to give the shape as 200,4. And then I can print the first 5 rows as df.it. So that's going to print the first 5 rows. So this is a, you can connect to this Postgres database and load this data to a data frame, and you can print the first 5 rows and basically work with the data frame. So the main purpose of this is you may have to connect to a database that has like huge amount of data, basically your customer data. You may have to build some ML stuff on this, or this is like trying to build a data pipeline and so on. So these are some use case where you might have to use this. And once this part is done, right, so I can just say connection dot close. So that's going to close the connection that we have created in this particular step, engine dot connect, but the data will still be there. So we have only closed the connection, but if I again run this as df dot tail, that's going to give me the last 5 rows of this data frame. So it would still there because we have already loaded the data. So if you restart your session, then you have to restart the connection and load the data, but this is how the entire thing works. So we have started the connection, imported the data, and close the connection. Then we are working with the database data frame. So I hope everyone is clear until this part. So please try this code, and I hope that this is helpful to you. So that is all from my side, and I'll see you in the next upload. Thanks for watching.